Hi guys, Jessica here from the Healing Hands Duo. I just wanted to quickly jump on here. I keep doing this where I don't take out my actual camera. I just do this on my phone and it tends to constantly delete my videos. So I'm gonna try this again. So anyway guys, I'm feeling really great today. I think that's for a few different reasons. Number one, I mentioned in my last video, I'm wearing all of my energy bracelets, my holistic jewelry. So again, thanks to Em for that. The other thing is I met with my spiritual group this week. I call them my spiritual circle or my energy circle. I met with them and we went into 3 different meditations, which has been making me feel really, really great. Again, guys, I strongly suggest during these trying times that if you guys are not finding ways to ground yourself, like meditation is a great tool. Use it as much as possible right now to keep you sane. So that was something as well. My last video about masks, I'm not going to get into that, but I was in a place where I was feeling very angry and sad for the world again because of the mandated masks. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on that particular subject, but you know, again, if you guys want to see what my viewpoints are on that, please do check out that video. It's on my Instagram page, not my YouTube channel. I'm thinking about uploading it there, but guys, I'm gonna let you guys know what's going on with Kevin and I. Kevin hasn't been on in a very long time because he has been working on something very, very big, and it's something that, again, like everything we talk about, is very controversial. So what you guys need to understand is that there is a lot of censorship happening around the things that we discuss. I have actually had to reach out to several of my affiliates this week and tell them that I am being censored left, right, and center. I'm not only just being censored, but as people are going through what I call these purge periods that we're going through now as part of the collective, or these dark nights of the soul, or people are doing their own shadow work, people are getting very, very angry. I did mention this in my last video because I think what's happening now is people are starting to look at the world a lot differently than they did perhaps 4 to 5 months ago, prior to this virus popping up. And I think what's happening is people are being asked to question their whole world right now. So I understand that people, when I say something, I'm not only getting it from the censorship of the, you know, the elite 1%, but I'm getting censorship now from even people that have been friends and family of mine for many, many, many years. And this is not me putting it out to attack them, because I really do wish them all very, very well, and I don't want to put any more hate or anger out into the world. And I do feel badly that some people feel the need to want to like attack me right now, but I do get it because even myself, I have been trying my best to keep my composure during all of this. However, I do want to put it out there that some of the stuff that Kevin and I are talking about in some of our videos, and when it comes to this virus, or when it comes to things like 5G and stuff like that and along those lines, and what I think is happening, again, these are my opinions. This is what I think is happening. I don't think what's happening out there is about a virus. I don't think it's ever been about a virus, and I don't know how much I can get into that in detail on my phone because it might cut me off, so I'll have to pause it every once in a while. But I just wanted to put it out there that because I have never thought that this was about a virus entirely. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do think that there is something going on out there. I personally, I'm just going to come out and say it. I personally think that evolutionary changes happen all the time, and for our species and the human race to evolve, I do really believe that we are going through an evolutionary shift at a DNA level, which I believe there are very natural sources and energies and vibrations that are happening on the planet. And guys, this is not woo-woo. You just need to look into things like the Schumann resonances and stuff like that. These things are increasing, and when energy happens, when any type of energy happens or shifts on the planet, we as the collective, we as a species, and all the animals and all the living biological beings on this planet are going to feel this shift. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to feel good. The way that I try to describe it to people is that we are going through some massive growing pains. And when you grow through things, things are going to be brought to the forefront that no longer serve us as a species. Hence the reason you guys are seeing all of this darkness come into the light, because again, what I believe is also happening is a spiritual war. Again, this goes back thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, maybe even off planet, okay guys? So what we're seeing now is we are seeing this galactic shift, And we personally, maybe you're going through it emotionally, maybe you're going through it physically in your physical body, or maybe you're going through it spiritually, or maybe it's just about you constantly questioning yourself and being happy and then sad and happy and sad, or maybe you're physically getting aches and pains throughout your body that you've never felt before. These are all parts of exposing the darkness and doing your shadow work and going through these evolutionary times and shifting your DNA and all that, okay? So now that I've got that out of the way, I think you guys know where I stand on that. Again, some of you guys are gonna see this as woo-woo, but take it as you will. Please don't shoot the messenger, okay? So I'm trying to do this in light where I try to be inclusive of everyone. So that little first part of it was more or less to maybe geared towards my spiritual audience. So the other thing, so that's the natural aspect of what is happening on the planet right now, in my opinion, okay? So when that happens, so how do I explain this? So the reason why I don't necessarily think the virus is a virus the way we imagine it to be is because I do think there is this natural cause where we are going through these energetic shifts. Anytime the body is experienced to another type of energy force or a life force on this planet, we physically change internally. And I've said this in other videos before. Our perception of what viruses are, I think, is very, very skewed. And I think when it comes to some of the science that we have built our current scientific paradigms on, it is very, very skewed. And we're going to see that unravel here about how much of the science is not accurate because we are still going off of old scientific paradigms that were basically go back as far as Einstein. So once we release all of this information about relativity and all this stuff, and again guys, Kevin will talk about this at some point, we'll start to see that this is why maybe some of our medical sciences and some of our physicists and all these other people, some of this stuff didn't quite add up. So I've said this before in videos, I don't know if anybody caught it, but I've always said that you don't catch a virus, you reactivate viruses. We reactivate various different things that were already deeply embedded in our DNA. So I think I'm just going to let you sit with that. So I'm not going to get into that in too much more detail. I'll maybe discuss that at a later date. So what's happening naturally on the planet with this spiritual war, I think that is reactivating various different things in our body. And again, guys, this gets into your faith and this gets into what you believe in, but I do believe in reincarnation and I don't believe that death is an end. But for some people, it is a new beginning, a place where people can work from another realm to support those that are here in the physical body left on this planet. So, while we might look at it and see, wow, there's people out there dying of COVID, which again, guys, I'm not an insensitive soul. I feel for these people, but I don't believe death is an end. So I believe a lot of these people are working from another realm because their physical temples, their physical bodies were not strong enough to go through this evolutionary time, which I do believe will be for the next 4 to 7 years, possibly even 10. So that's the natural aspect of what I think is going on. The other flip side to everything that's going on is there is a darker side that is going on. Because again, guys, this is like the dark against the light. So the dark side of it is that this world has been enslaved to a very minute and a very small collective group of people. People, if you want to call them people. And I think because they saw what many of us call the Great Awakening coming, they started to instill stuff into our reality to slow that ascension down a little bit. So I think perhaps maybe that came in the way of biochemical warfare, or maybe they did put something out there or something along those lines. However, I am going to say this again, and I said this in various other videos too. The reason why I'm talking this way is because I have to always be careful about what I say online. So in the beginning, when this all started with this virus, and this is something that I have been saying for many, many, many years now. I believe that when we released the next phase of technology, that we would see mass illness and sickness and something along the lines of a pandemic sweep across this planet. And so there was a specific type of technology that went up. I'm just going to say it, 5G. There was a specific type of technology that went up in Wuhan, and right after that we saw happen what happened to the world. As these infrastructures started going up all around the world, we started to see more of an influx of this. I think the reason why it's looked so weird as to what the government has been doing and various different health officials have been doing is because they have been following this infrastructure. Because guys, what you have to remember is this infrastructure is worth billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, okay? So the fact that only 0.26% of the world's population has died so far, because right now I think we sit at 500,000 people, and what people need to realize is that we've had other viruses that have swept across this planet, like H1N1, back in 2009, and I think in the end there were 60 million people that were affected from that, and the deaths, I will have to post it down below. But they never went through these draconian measures of shutting everything down. That's because they knew that, the economy would crash and all these things, and they weren't ready for that. But right now, the only reason why I think we've gone through these measures now is because during the time that we were in lockdown, these towers and all this stuff that they'd already spent all the money in. So at this point, they have a lot to lose. And honestly, I know this is going to sound nuts, but I know people want to believe that everybody is out for our best interest. But when money is involved, billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars is involved, 500,000 people, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people, to these people who are doing this, doesn't mean that much to them, okay? So again, I never wanted to say that there was a direct correlation between those two things. So the situation that's happening across the world and the energy shift that has happened that they have induced. Again, guys, when you work with millimeter waves, this stuff, I know there's a lot of people out there preaching that this stuff does not affect us at a biological level. There is so much science out there to show that what we had before 4G, 3G, everything, even introducing us to the electrical grid, had effect on our on biological life. And every time we created a new energetic paradigm on this planet, it was followed by some type of pandemic. But the reason why not everyone gets sick is because some people at a mitochondrial level, so your energy and the way that your body is able to produce energy, is going to be able to withstand some of this oxidative stress, really. So it really just depends on the person. So that's why I think with this one, you saw a lot of the elderly who kind of are at the end of their life, or people who are very sickly, who their mitochondria is very damaged. They're probably, in order for your mitochondria to also be damaged, that means that your body has to be filled with something that is called deuterium, which means you're on the verge of chronic illness or death at that point. So when you add something in that's like the millimeter waves that they're planning to release with things like 5G, or that they have released in some places, this is just going to tip some people over the edge, and they're not going to survive that. Other people, this is my personal opinion, okay guys? My personal opinion. Other people, however, are going to be able to handle a lot more before they are tipped over that edge. Again, guys, these things are not natural to us. We don't need to be using these frequencies, but yet they keep insisting on using these frequencies because I think all of you guys know by now, 5G is not going to be one thing. It's going to be several things. And the other thing is, they need this because, like I've told you guys before, we are going into a technological age. AI technology is coming in. They need this for tracking. They need this for the quantum dot. They need this for the blockchain. They need this for CERN. They need this for contact tracing. They need this to basically control all your finances, your medical information, really you. So I know this sounds super, super scary, but when you guys see it from this aspect, I'm just trying to bring you guys into the light of what I see. Again, this is just, again, my opinion. When you see it from this angle, you would realize that that's another reason why I'm getting so mad when I see these little things being implemented, like masks and lockdowns and all these things, because if it really is an energetic shift that is happening, whether it be at a natural level or a level that is a level that has been man-made, masks are not going to protect us. Lockdowns are not going to protect us. If anything, it would even be worse because you're not grounding, you're not out in nature, so you're around all of your technology. So anytime you have like 5G towers and then you got smart devices in your house, you're picking up that signal right into your right in your house. So these things are not going to protect us. Is everybody going to die from like something like 5G? Absolutely not. Like I said before, it really depends on where you are physically within your body and energetically. That's really important. Energetically in your body, okay? I thought I would come out and do a video about this. I was going to do a video about this in December to put out a warning to everyone about this, because the people that have been talking about 5G, we've all started to kind of protect ourselves, not just from 5G, but from EMF about 10 years ago now, just to be completely honest. Like, I've been carrying my BLUSHIELD devices with me since 2008. However, me and my husband got super serious about blocking this stuff back in 2015. Again, if you guys don't believe me, I don't know, I can maybe bring people on that know me, family members or friends, or anybody that can vouch for me in my comments. Please let people know how long I've been talking about this. But the reason why I was talking about this so diligently back then to family and friends was because I was trying to kind of put out like a light warning sign and signal to people that it probably is a good time to start preparing for this. Because again, anything that you can do to support your immune system and your body energetically is going to benefit you during this time. Again, guys, I'm just going to put that out there too. I probably should. Kevin and I do EMF and remediation and mitigation. It's not about just us making money and all that stuff. It really is about trying to help you guys. Again, BLUSHIELDs, if you guys are interested in that technology, our affiliates for Canada, the United States, as well as Europe now, because that's how much I believe in this technology, guys. So I will put that all on the side or on the bottom, and I want you guys to please consider checking them out to protect yourselves, because we are not fully loaded with 5G everywhere. We are still building smart cities everywhere and stuff like that, and I'm still working with various different groups and organizations to try and put a stop to some of this. However, guys, it looks like we're going to roll this out, and we are just going to have to build our bodies up energetically to be able to withstand these vibrational scalar as well as frequency shifts that are going to happen across the planet for the next several years. Like I said, I was going to do a video back in December pre-warning people. I put the video together. No, sorry, it was January. Don't let me get ahead of myself. I was following this in Wuhan in China, and right away my mind went to, they just released 5G. Look what's happening. Maybe it's not 5G that's causing the viral infection or the bacterial parasitic, because I believe that this virus is not just a virus, which might in fact be something that was already deeply embedded in our DNA. I think if this was spliced, I think this might have some type of a mold component to it of some sort, which is how it's being spread from person to person. Or maybe this is something that's just very energetic. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the phenomena of tuning forks, but if you tune one fork, say this fork is vibrating, and you put another fork here that's not doing anything, and this one's vibrating, this one will pick up on the energy and the vibration, and they'll both start to ring and vibrate together. So humans are no different, okay? When it comes to energy, we're no different. That's why when you walk into a room and somebody is like angry, and they haven't even opened their mouth, you can tell they're angry because you are vibing on their energy. Or somebody walks into a room and they're super ecstatic and excited, you get super ecstatic and excited because you vibe on their energy. That's why I'm always saying during this time, it's really good to surround yourself with positive people, other like-minded people, because you want to keep your vibration up. You want to vibe with other people who are putting you into your truth and putting you into your light. The last thing that I want to talk about here was, okay, so this 5G thing, I was going to put something out in January. There's a specific friend of mine, maybe she'll pipe up and say something, but I remember actually saying it to her right away. This thing that's happening in China, I think we need to start preparing. It's going to come here, and I think this has something to do with 5G. A lot of people thought I was nuts. I kind of tested the waters. Every time I release something on my business page, I test the waters on my personal pages first. So guys, what I am talking about here, I've already been talking about a lot of this stuff on my personal pages, but when I get attacked and censored like crazy, I decide to pull back a little bit, because to me that means the collective is not ready to hear some of this stuff, and I have to be very diligent and I have to be very respectful about what the part of my spiritual belief system is that I have to be very respectful of what the collective is ready to hear and what they're ready for, because then I would be imposing my beliefs on the collective, and that's like a big no-no, okay? So I decided not to say anything, and I knew that the seeds had been planted various different places back in the day when I was talking about this, and I knew that eventually, if this information was important enough, it would get out there. So fast forward to today and why I'm talking about it now. I think a lot of people are thinking about this now. I know a lot of people are thinking about this now, because since this has gotten out, Kevin and I have been getting an immense amount of questions surrounding EMF since this has happened. So I know the interest is out there now. However, this is what's come out today. And again, it was also always just speculation that what I believe to be happening was linked to 5G, but now I have somewhat proof, okay? So what just came out today just came out this week, I believe, on the 20th July, so of this month, it came out this month, was the following abstract, okay? So I'm gonna flip this around and I'll read it to you. So what this says here is, it says 5G technology and induction of coronavirus in skin cells. Okay, so if you go on to read this abstract, it says, in this research, we show that 5G millimeter waves could be absorbed by dermatological cells acting like antennas. This is something that Kevin and I have been saying for years. Transfer to other cells and play the main role in producing coronaviruses in biological cells. DNA is built from charged electrons and atoms and has an inductor-like structure. This structure could be divided into linear, toroid, or round inductors. Inductors interact with external electromagnetic waves, move and produce some extra waves within the cells. The shapes of these waves are similar to shapes of hexagonal and pentagonal bases of their DNA source. These waves produce some holes in liquids, and this is another thing that Kevin's going to be getting into, structured water, because it all has to do with that. That's why we're big proponents of structured water and drinking that to re-energize your body, as well as making sure you protect yourself against EMF. So it says to produce some holes in liquids within the nucleus. To fill these holes, some extra hexagonal and pentagonal bases are produced. These bases could join to each other and form virus-like structures, such as coronavirus. To produce these viruses within a cell, it is necessary that the wavelength of the external waves be shorter than the size of the cell. Thus, 5G millimeter waves could be good candidates for applying in constructing virus-like structures such as coronavirus COVID-19 within cells. So guys, there you have it. That's not me who says that. I don't know if they're going to still censor this somehow, but this is right on pubmed.ncbi.nlm. So this is just on pubmed.gov. So if you guys wanted to check out this abstract, I will link this in the sidebar. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say about that. And I think what we need to do now is, I'm not sure why this was brought out. Okay, so I knew this was going to be too good to be true. I just checked back today and it looks like they have withdrawn the abstract. So guys, unfortunately, it looks like we're still not ready to deal with the elephants in the room, but we will keep on top of it. However, I do want to point out once again that I was very flabbergasted that they even had this abstract come out, and I just want you guys to keep in mind that I still do believe that non-native EMFs are going to be very detrimental to all biological life, and Kevin and I still do believe that the science that is needed and the evidence that is needed is going to come in a full disclosure of new science that will be coming out. And I do also want to let you guys know, again, we are talking about $2.7 trillion. So I knew it wasn't going to be that easy. So with that aside, everything else still stands on what I think is happening. Again, this is all, of course, just my opinion, and do what you will with all of this information. Thanks. Maybe now that we know that this information is out there and that there could be possibly a correlation, maybe now as a collective we could start working towards questioning what is going on in the world, and maybe we can start putting aside some of the fear that we've developed, and making sure that everything is sanitized and we have our masks on and all that. Because honestly, guys, energy is going to permeate everything. It's not just, so a mask, lockdowns, all that stuff is not really going to protect us. So I think it's time we start questioning this stuff, and I think it's time we start we start taking this up with the so-called authorities. So anyway, guys, just wanted to put that out there. Again, this is not to scare you. This is to empower you guys, because now that we have this little bit of a link, this means it's time for us to start taking, eating the right foods that help to draw radiation from the body. This means it's time to start taking things like fulvic acid, which can also help to draw radiation from the body. Liposomal vitamin C. These also draw radiation from the body, but these things also help with antioxidant stress, and this helps to increase your energy, as well as, using light to your advantage, electromedicine to your advantage, oxygen therapies to your advantage, and again, guys, eliminating the EMF as much as possible from your life. Time to start throwing away Wi-Fi devices, time to start, rewiring the stuff in your house, time to start looking into things that support your body and your homeostasis, like the BLUSHIELDs and all of that stuff, guys. I think this is a great thing, because I think before a lot of us were just running around blindly believing everything that the government was saying, and I just didn't want people to be walking around out there with a false sense of security, especially now that these masks are mandated. I think a lot of people are they have this false sense of security that they will not get sick with that. So I just want to put that out there, because as much as I come across sometimes a little strong and maybe egoic, and I'm only saying this because people are cutting me off and getting angry. I understand everybody's going through a tough time right now. I really, ultimately, from the bottom of my heart, I really am just trying to help. I really, really am. So if I'm wrong, I will come out and say it. Like I've said, even in the mask video, that masks do work when you're using an N95. The rest of this stuff, guys, I haven't found any real evidence. I even got into a spat with a doctor earlier this week, because he basically said there's plenty of evidence out there. And I said to him, okay, show me the peer-reviewed journals supporting the fact that masks are going to help us. And he basically, I couldn't believe it, but he basically was like, it's out there, Google it. And I was like, no, you're a doctor. Show it to me. And that was the end of the conversation. He couldn't show me anything. So that's all I have to say, guys. Love you guys. Stay strong. And in this case, with this stuff, stay safe. Bye.